Hello everyone, welcome to Everyday Prepared. Thanks for watching. So September is National Preparedness Month, and I had plans on making a video earlier in the month for, trying to encourage people to up their prepping game this month. Hey, stuff happens. Didn't get around to it, so thought I would take this opportunity now that September's almost over. Just to let you guys know, hey, National Preparedness Month is over, but that doesn't mean you get to slack off on your preps now. Keep with it. I keep seeing a lot of posts and comments from people saying, hey, I'm trying to get into prepping. Where do I start? That kind of thing. And I don't see a lot of good answers. Here's the thing, and this is a shirt, I wore this for a video before. We call it prepping, right? But if you remember back, Grandma called it Tuesday. And that's because up until very recently, prepping was a way of life, right? Our grandparents and their grandparents and back, they grew a lot of the food they ate. You grow your garden and you preserve what you can for the rest of the year. Eat simple, things like that. So we have kind of gotten away from that a lot. And, there's a lot of people out there on these forums and groups and things where they offer advice to people that have questions about prepping, and they're making it way more complicated than it has to be. Okay. And they want to be, hey, look at me, I'm a cool prepper and I know what I'm talking about, when they're really just confusing the issue and making things harder than it has to be. So if you're looking to get started prepping, buy more of the food you eat every day. That's my biggest thing that I can tell you if you're just looking to get started. And I'll use myself for an example. We go grocery shopping every week, one day a week. Usually go on Sunday. If you go every 2 weeks, that's fine. A month, it doesn't matter. But what I recommend is using what I call the backup system. And the backup system is exactly what it sounds like. You have a backup of every consumable item in your house. I happen to start with mustard. And it was because I would come home and be like, man, look in my fridge, be like, hey, a hot dog sounds great. I'd start cooking a couple hot dogs and come to find out I didn't have any mustard, right? So I'd just make a mental note and say, well, I got to pick up mustard. And anybody want to guess what I would forget when I went to the store that week? That's right, mustard. So what I started doing was when I finally had enough of that, I went to the store and I bought 2 bottles of mustard. Cleaned out one of my cabinets, made that my backup cabinet, stuck one bottle of mustard in there, and the other one is the one I use. So what happens now is when the mustard I'm using runs out, I pull the one out of my cupboard. I also have a Post-it note grocery list on the side of my refrigerator. So whenever I take the backup mustard out of the cabinet, I put mustard on my list. Whenever I go to the store, I'll take that list. Now I know what I need to replenish from my backups, right? And once I started thinking about that and did that with the mustard, I expanded it to all the condiments and sauces and things that we use a lot of, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, relish, hot sauce, Tabasco, Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, all those things and it's over time. Don't think you're going to rush right out and buy all this at one time. But as you're shopping, just start thinking of the things that you eat on a daily basis. Start collecting backups of it. Once you get those condiment items and things taken care of, now branch out. Start looking at your toilet paper, your paper towels, your napkins, hand soap, body soap, shampoo, dish soap, laundry soap, all the consumable items in your house, get a backup of. Okay. Now, once you start getting the backup items in, it really, really helps to free you up. And I'll give you an example of that here in a second after this next point. So now every week when you go to the grocery store, you're getting some sort of a backup item. Also get one extra meal a week. One extra meal and either a case of bottled water if you use bottled water. If you don't, maybe one of the 1 gallon containers of water. They're cheap, right? Now, one of the problems I have with a lot of the advice these people who claim to be expert preppers like to give is they want to tell you all this stuff you have to go buy, right? And if your name isn't Musk or Bezos or Gates, you can't go out and buy all of that stuff. But they'll tell you you have to have all this stuff to survive the end of the world, right? If you're just starting out in prepping, you should not be prepping for the end of the world. That is way too all-encompassing, way too complicated, and way too stressful, right? Start small, build your preps up, okay? Start with small, manageable, attainable goals that you can reach and just expand from there. So every week if you buy one extra meal and some water and one of the items on your backup list, right? Excuse me, do that for 6 months. Okay. If you do that for 6 months, 4 weeks in a month, you're looking at about 26 meals. You can live for 2 weeks on 26 meals, right? Yeah. Also have 26 cases of water or 26 gallons of water, right? And you'll have 26 backup items. Now, what you do with these backup items is that gives you shopping freedom. And one of the examples I like to use is for us personally, we like the Kraft original blue box mac and cheese. You know, we don't like the fancy mac and cheese. We don't like the store brand mac and cheese. They're not the same. We prefer the Kraft. Now, when we go to the grocery store, we know we're going to pay a little more than the store brand, and we have accepted that because that's what we like. Now, for the longest time, you could buy the box of Kraft macaroni and cheese. It was $1, right? And that's what we did. We would buy those every once in a while. Whenever we wanted mac and cheese, that's what we would get. So we did it. We go to the store one week, and I noticed that they have the macaroni and cheese on sale. Well, if you look at the sale price is $1. And then down in the little corner, it said regular price $1.25. Well, here's the thing. Before that week, that macaroni and cheese was $1 every time for the longest time. You know, we have inflation now and groceries are costing more and more all the time. But that's how grocery stores like to do their pricing is they will put an item on sale for whatever price it is and then say it's marked down from their new price. So pay attention, especially if there are brands of food you like and you don't like substituting for it. Pay attention to how much you're paying for those, right? And that way, if you happen to be there at the right time and see, hey, that's on sale, but that's the original price, you can be guaranteed that the price is going to go up. So you might get a couple extra of those, right? Now, when I talk about freedom at the grocery store, if you know this week you're going to have chicken, steak, and pork chops 3 days, okay? If you go to the grocery store, if you look at the price difference per pound, if you buy the small package of chicken and the family size pack of chicken, it's a huge price difference, right? On pork chops, it's not as much. I don't think steaks are as much, but usually the bigger packages you buy, you get a little cheaper per pound. So what you do, if you're going to have those 3 items this week, well, I've got some steaks in the fridge and some pork chops. So I'm not going to buy those, but I'm going to use the same amount of money as if I bought chicken, pork chops, and steak. I'm just going to buy a big package of chicken to get it cheaper. Come home, you take out what you're going to eat for the week, right? The rest, vacuum seal it up, put it in your freezer. Next week, do the same thing with pork chops. If you're going to have the same 3 items, right? Eat the steak and chicken out of your freezer. Buy the big package of pork chops. Eat what you're going to eat. Vacuum seal. Put the rest in the freezer. Once you get on a rotation like this, and after about 6 months, you should be in a good place where you don't have to necessarily shop for everything you need for the week. You have other items at home that you can use to sustain your family for the week. So you can look at things that are on sale this week. Buy things that are on sale, right? Now, usually what I say, and after 6 months of doing this, you should have all your backups should be good, right? And you're on a rotation where, hey, I need a new mustard this week because I just pulled my backup out. So a backup here and a backup there to keep your backups full. And you've also been, for 6 months, you've been used to buying 1 extra meal a week. So now your budget has adapted to where you don't even really notice you're spending the extra money on that 1 meal. So then what I want you to do is keep on like you've been doing, only now add a few other items. Add like maybe a bag of rice, a bag of beans, something that has a little longer shelf life. And it could be something you don't normally eat very often. I see posts all the time. People are like, oh, I don't eat canned ham, but they have it on sale, so I bought 5 cases of it. Don't buy 5 cases of something you don't eat. Okay? If there's a large-scale emergency, you're going to have enough problem getting used to doing things more manually than a lot of things we take for granted now every day. If you don't have heat or electricity, and you have to go and cut wood to make fire to keep yourself warm, you're going to be expending a lot more calories. And if you're eating food cooked over a campfire, it's not like you can just run down to McDonald's and grab a cheeseburger anymore. So what I'm saying is your body's going to be under a lot more stress than it is now. So adapting a diet to things you really don't like and you don't eat often or ever is not really something you want to be doing in a large scale emergency. Now, I see the quote all the time. Well, if you're hungry enough, you'll eat it. Yes, but why spend money on food that's just going to sit in your cupboard and it go past the expiration date because you never eat it? That's why when we're buying these extra meals, we're rotating it. First in, first out, right? That way we don't have to worry about checking expiration dates all the time. And like I said, what this does is it gives us the freedom of our shopping. Let's say you're a younger couple and you live paycheck to paycheck. There's a lot of people in this country in that situation right now, where with all the inflation and everything going on, a lot of people have lost jobs. Maybe they downgraded a job, so they had a certain lifestyle they were used to living, and now they can't. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck and it's the day before payday and you just cooked the last food you had in your refrigerator, and tomorrow's payday, so we're going to get paid and we're going to go grocery shopping, right? What happens when you wake up and now you have a blowout on your car? So now you got to spend $100, $200, $300 to get a new tire that you're going to spend on food, right? So when you have your backup system in place and your extra food that you eat all the time, you're not going to notice a difference, right? You don't have to sit around a dim lantern and eat MREs in the dark because you had to buy a new tire for your car. It keeps you adaptable. And that's what prepping is about. If something happens, then you can adapt with what you have, right? We're not so much concentrating on the end of the world as we know it. Because as you keep going and keep prepping and you meet those small obtainable goals, and then you make a new goal a little further, before you know it, you are encompassing a pretty wide margin of disaster preparedness, right? So we don't have to be negative about everything. I see a lot of people worried about getting into prepping because they're like, oh, I don't want to be all negative and worry about all of that crap. You don't. Like Grandma said, man, it's not prepping. It's just Tuesday. It's what we do. We have buy a little extra food, buy a little extra water. If you notice you're running out of Band-Aids and you go buy buy 2 boxes of Band-Aids. Have a backup, right? So that is really what I wanted to talk about this week is getting started. Baby steps, okay? And that's not the answers you're going to get on all these forums and pages and things. They expect you to go out and be ready for the end of the world tomorrow, and it's not an attainable goal. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay on it. Preparedness Month may be coming to a close, but we want to keep that higher level of prepping going for the rest of the year. I know Christmas is coming up and it's tight for a lot of people, but keep your preps in mind when you're doing all your Christmas shopping and all of that. We still have another week or so of Preparedness Month, so check your emails. There are a lot of stores out there who are having clearance sales and things. If you're needing summer attire, maybe you're running low, have some old shorts that need to be thrown away and you need to replace them, now's the time to start looking for that kind of thing. Hopefully, with winter approaching, you have your winter stuff taken care of. Check now. Make sure you got, if you said last year you're going to throw your old coat away to get a new coat, get it now. Don't wait until it starts getting cold. On those kind of purchases, I try to stay at least a couple seasons ahead because, right now summer's ending, so there's a lot of gardening stuff that's on clearance that you can get cheaper. There's a lot of summer clothes going on sale. If you look at stores like Walmart with their garden center, they have a lot of stuff out there on clearance because they want to make room to fill that all up with Christmas stuff, right? So, and it might not be stuff you need right now, but think about your garden next year. If there are things you might need for the garden next year, check and see if it's on markdown now. Try to stay at least a couple seasons ahead because you can really save a lot of money doing it that way. And so again, thank you guys for watching so much. Please like, share, subscribe, all those wonderful things. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or even anything you'd like to see me make a video on, drop me a comment, let me know. I will do what I can to honor those requests. And until next time, take care.